If woolly mammoths existed today, how would they forage for food? The woolly mammoth, Mammothus primigenius, one of the most iconic animals of the Ice Age, was a master of survival in harsh, freezing climates. If these ancient giants were still alive today, how would they adapt their feeding habits to the modern world? Woolly mammoths were herbivores, relying on a diet of grasses, shrubs, and other vegetation to sustain their massive size. In a world shaped by human activity, climate change, and transformed ecosystems, their foraging strategies would likely evolve in fascinating ways. Let's explore how modern woolly mammoths might navigate their environment and feed themselves. 1. Physical adaptations for foraging. Woolly mammoths were superbly equipped for Ice Age survival, and many of these traits would remain advantageous today. Tusks as tools. Breaking ice, their long, curved tusks, which could grow up to 15 feet, 4.5 meters, were ideal for breaking through ice to access frozen vegetation or water sources. This skill would be critical in cold climates today, such as Siberia or the Arctic. Uprooting vegetation. Mammoths could use their tusks to strip bark from trees, uproot shrubs, and dig for roots. This would allow them to adapt to a variety of plant-based food sources. Trunks for precision. Their trunks were versatile and sensitive, allowing them to pluck grasses, reach high branches, and dig for roots. Modern vegetation, including agricultural crops, would be well within their reach. Large molars for grinding food. Woolly mammoths had massive, flat molars designed to grind fibrous plant material. They could efficiently process tough vegetation, including woody shrubs, grasses, and bark. 2. Feeding in modern ecosystems. If woolly mammoths existed today, they would encounter a range of environments, from tundras and forests to grasslands and human-dominated landscapes. Here's how they might forage in each. Tundras and Arctic regions. Diet. In tundra regions like Siberia or Alaska, mammoths would likely rely on mosses, lichens, sedges, and grasses. During winter, they would dig through snow to reach frozen plants. Adaptations. Their ability to store fat and survive on nutrient-poor diets during harsh winters would help them thrive in these environments. Forests and taigas. Diet. In forested regions, mammoths would consume a mix of bark, leaves, and small branches. They might strip bark from birch or pine trees, similar to how modern elephants eat acacia bark. Impact on ecosystems. Their foraging would create natural clearings, encouraging new plant growth and benefiting other species. Grasslands and plains. Diet. In open grasslands, mammoths would graze on grasses, wildflowers, and shrubs. They would likely migrate in search of fresh grazing areas, much like bison or wildebeest. Herd behavior. Herds of mammoths would play a role in shaping the grasslands, trampling vegetation and dispersing seeds through their dung. Agricultural areas. Conflict with humans. In areas near human settlements, mammoths might raid crops like wheat, corn, or alfalfa. Their massive appetites could create significant challenges for farmers, leading to human-wildlife conflicts. 3. Interaction with modern flora. Exploiting modern crops. Mammoths could adapt to feed on modern crops, including high-yield grains and vegetables. Their intelligence and problem-solving abilities, akin to those of modern elephants, might allow them to exploit agricultural landscapes effectively. Role in rewilding efforts. In controlled settings, mammoths could be reintroduced to help restore ecosystems. For example, grassland management. By grazing and trampling, mammoths could prevent the overgrowth of woody plants and maintain healthy grasslands. Carbon storage. Their foraging could encourage the growth of grasses that sequester carbon, aiding in climate change mitigation. Dietary flexibility. Modern woolly mammoths might develop a more flexible diet, consuming invasive plant species or other vegetation that thrives in disturbed environments. 4. Seasonal foraging strategies. Summer foraging. Abundance of vegetation. In warmer months, mammoths would graze extensively on grasses, flowering plants, and shrubs. They might migrate to areas with higher rainfall or richer vegetation. Water access. Mammoths would need regular access to water, using their tusks and trunks to dig water holes if necessary. Winter survival. Digging through snow. Mammoths would rely on their tusks to uncover buried vegetation beneath layers of snow. Fat reserves. During food-scarce winters, they would depend on their fat reserves, much like modern polar bears or other Arctic animals. 5. Challenges in modern foraging. Competition with other herbivores. Mammoths would compete with modern herbivores like bison, elk, and deer for resources in grasslands and forests. Their large size might give them an advantage, but overpopulation could strain ecosystems. Human encroachment. Urban development and agriculture could limit their access to natural foraging grounds. They might be pushed into smaller, fragmented habitats, increasing human-wildlife conflicts. Climate change. As global temperatures rise, traditional tundra and Arctic ecosystems are shrinking. Mammoths would need to adapt to warmer climates, possibly moving into higher altitudes or more northern latitudes. Predation and poaching. While adult mammoths would have few natural predators, calves might be vulnerable to predators like wolves or bears. Additionally, their tusks would make them targets for poaching, similar to modern elephants. 6. Ecological impact of mammoth foraging. If mammoths existed today, their foraging would have profound effects on ecosystems, creating grasslands. By trampling vegetation and dispersing seeds, mammoths could help maintain grassland ecosystems, encouraging biodiversity. Their dung would provide nutrients for plants and smaller organisms, fostering a diverse ecosystem, preventing overgrowth. By consuming woody plants and shrubs, they would prevent forests from encroaching on grasslands. 7. Modern conservation efforts. Rewilding with mammoths. If scientists successfully brought mammoths back through de-extinction efforts, they could be used in rewilding projects to restore degraded ecosystems. For example, Pleistocene Park in Siberia. Researchers are already experimenting with using large herbivores to recreate Ice Age ecosystems. Mammoths could play a central role in these efforts. Controlled habitats. Mammoths might live in protected reserves, where their foraging habits could be managed to prevent overgrazing or habitat destruction. Conclusion. If woolly mammoths roamed the earth today, their foraging habits would be a mix of ancient behaviors and modern adaptations. From digging through snow for buried grasses to raiding modern crops, these resilient giants would find ways to survive in our rapidly changing world. Their presence could reshape ecosystems, create new challenges for humans, and provide a fascinating glimpse into the past while influencing the future of conservation. Thank you for watching Wild Diary Florence. If you enjoyed this journey into the modern life of woolly mammoths, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more fascinating wildlife scenarios. What do you think would be their biggest challenge or strength today? Let us know in the comments. And stay tuned for more incredible wildlife content.